One fateful morning, a Mr. David Hyde woke up, looked into the mirror, and said to himself, "You know what? Aquaman." Would you believe me if I told you that this isn't far off from the truth? What's up, Doc? I'm Pugs Bunny, and today we're going to look at some of the cruel, petty, and absurd things Black Manta has done in hopes to hurt, embarrass, or break Aquaman. So, where do we begin? How about his origin story? Well, the thing is, our boy has at least 5 different origins that we can take a look at. And trust me, you have to hear a couple of these because they are absolutely crazy. So, let's start with the movie origin. Just because it's more grounded or underwater compared to the others. So, Black Manta in the DCEU was the son and second in command to his pirate captain father, Jesse Kane. Manta would hold a grudge after Aquaman refused to save Jesse Kane's life, so he would seek out Orm Marius of Atlantis to create his legendary diving armor. Then later, he would come into possession of the Black Trident, where Kordax, King of Necrus, would possess him. He would then hunt down Aquaman, but the battle would end after Manta let himself die by falling in a ravine, refusing to let the man that let his father die save his life. And in the New 52, his origin is kinda similar. Manta was from a tribe of Atlanteans known as the Deserters. Aquaman would still kill Manta's dad while protecting his own, making Black Manta seek revenge. So, now that the basic, more sensible backstories are out of the way, let's get into the absurd origins. There was a storyline that had Black Manta looking for his son, Jackson. And in a flashback, it showed Manta and his pregnant wife were treasure hunting in the Bermuda Triangle, when the two would suddenly be kidnapped, tortured, and experimented on by the other dimensional residents and princess of Zebel. The experiments would kill Manta's wife, but their son would gain the powers of the Zebel, so the princess would take Jackson far away on land to be raised by humans in hopes to never return to the sea. But Manta would find Jackson, learning that he joined the Teen Titans and became the new Aqualad. But no worries, Manta was still able to take one of Aquaman's hands, so it was like a fair trade, I guess. In his next origin story, he claimed that he was shanghaied at Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, by a ship of pirates that would abuse and force him to work. Why does he hate Aquaman though? Well, at sea, Manta would see Aquaman playing with dolphins, so he would yell out to Aquaman. And the wiki says he didn't hear Manta, but based off the distance here, I'm pretty sure Aquaman ignored Manta for his dolphin play date. The next Black Manta origin kinda aged poorly, but it's as ludicrous as it comes. So Manta confided in Aquaman that he had autism, and was admitted to Arkham Asylum. This was during the 80s, during a time of little to no understanding of autism at all. He had sensory issues, like ice-cold baths would feel like ecstasy to him, but when he would sleep on cotton sheets, it would put him in excruciating pain. The Arkham staff would experiment on Black Manta, strapping him to the bed, kinda smothering him with a pillow. The only solace he would get was seeing Aquaman on TV, but these experiments would make him extremely strong and aggressive, so he would kill his tormentors, and now he had a heart full of hate for Aquaman. So this all happened in the 2003 Aquaman comics, and by the end of the story, Manta had turned to the light side, and I shit you not, was cured of his autism by Aquaman using his Lady of the Lake powers. But Manta would take advantage of the situation and turn back to Hill, where he would backstab Aquaman and mock him for believing his act, hitting him with a line. You see, deep down, in my most secret heart of hearts, I'm still a totally depraved son of a bitch whose main goal in life is to watch you die, slowly and painfully, just like your kid. Yes, you heard me right. He was talking about Aqua Baby. And he's saying this not to just mock Aquaman, well, probably to mock Aquaman, but it's because he himself, Black Manta, is the baby killer. Black Manta would aqua nap Aqua Baby, place the kid into a glass orb that slowly replaced the water with oxygen, forcing Aquaman to beat Aqualad, traumatizing him, and after the death of Aqua Baby, Queen Mera would lose her mind. I'm talking like throwing the meanest stuff, man. Like, she was so mean to him. My son is dead, and it's all your fault, Aquaman. That hurts. And that's not even the worst thing she says to him. She would attack him, and in self-defense, he flips her over, and she's impaled by a piece of metal, right? He buries her, thinking she's dead, But she wasn't dead. She would come back, and then she would say, haven't you ever wondered about the differences in our physiologies? Haven't you ever considered that at all? If I had a child with one of my own, it would have lived. Your weak... This is so messed up right here. Your weak genes killed my baby. It's all your fault. Aquaman's all like, that's what you wanted, isn't it? To make me hate myself for what happened to him? And Mera just simply says, yes. And now that I'm sure I've done that, I can finally leave this wretched world of yours. Forever! She whirlpools away. So Black Manta completely destroyed this marriage. And, tidbit, was the first superhero wedding in a comic book. After doing this horrific act of violence, Manta would take any opportunity he could to bring it up. Sometimes in really hilarious ways, which I feel bad saying, but just wait and see what I mean. So remember when he backstabbed Aquaman after curing his autism? Black Manta hits the line, "My main goal in life is to watch you die, slowly and painfully, just like your kid." And in 2 different battles they would have, Manta would say, "You can't keep me away from that boy," talking about his own son, Jackson Hyde. After all, you know how important sons can be to their fathers. And any immortal last words before I do you like your kid? Now, for my favorite mention of this so-called accomplishment, Aquaman is taking important life-changing questions from the public, like, do fish believe in God? But a familiar voice from behind would cut through the crowd. Hey, Mr. King of the Sea, I've been waiting a long time to ask. Aquaman, already knowing what's coming, turns to see Black Manta atop his sub. How's the wife and kid? This delivery honestly got a chuckle out of me. This would troll Aquaman into following Manta, just to see he destroyed Aqua Baby's gravesite. And as you can probably tell, Black Manta has no remorse for what he did to Aquaman. And Aqua Baby's death happened in 1977. And this incident happened in 1991. And the time between and even after, the death of his baby has affected him. Like, Aquaman's a very tragic character. His life really sucks. I might have to make a separate video for him. So, let's stop with the Aqua Baby hate campaign Black Manta has been on for years and get into some more modern things he's done. Black Manta made Aquaman look racist before. In the first comic issue, when Black Manta revealed his true face to Aquaman, he was telling him, no obstacle is insurmountable if the desire to surmount is great enough, and so I've recruited enough of my own people to serve that purpose quite adequately. Aquaman would respond, your people? You mean surface dwellers? That's when Manta would remove his helmet. No, I mean exactly what I said, my people. Or have you never wondered why I'm called Black Manta? So I thought he got his name because it was like sea related, and the black diving suit with the manta-shaped sub would be the reason why I took the name Black Manta. But as the brilliant minds with rhymeswithnerdly.com would say, the black liberation motivation turned out to be a sham to boost recruitment in his gang, proving Black Manta was comics' first ever race hustler. And to top that, Black Manta was giving a speech to a crowd of people on the surface, while he was swimming around in like a giant aquarium looking thing, talking about how race shouldn't be the reason why he wasn't allowed in the sea. But suddenly, Aquaman would spring in and start beating the hell out of Black Manta. The crowd was all like, all he's doing is talking, he's not even strapped or anything, but Aquaman's like, wait, hold on, listen to me. And everyone's willing to listen. They have time for him to explain why he's attacking this man who's just giving a speech. And Aquaman just states, that's Black Manta, he's a terrorist. And then Black Manta would hit him with the, check the FBI. You'll see I'm not wanted, just like I am here. So I'm sure that took a big hit on Aquaman's, like, reputation. Speaking of the Black Manta thing, he sold his soul to Neuron, making him an actual huge soulless Black Manta. So he did at one point become a genuine Black Manta. And just a quick TLDR, the OG Aquaman's birth name is Orin, which is important because at some point Orin dies off screen. And this caused Black Manta to go off the deep end of the pool. But since it's Manta, that means he actually would retire from his criminal ways and open up a fish market, really connecting with his community. But during the events of Blackest Nights, Aquaman would be revived, along with Aqua Baby. And once Black Manta heard the news, without skipping a beat, he would slaughter every single customer in his store. and burn it to the ground, ready to go fishing for some Aqua family. I'm sure there's several more things that Black Manta has done to Aquaman out of pettiness or hate, but I think maybe we should see a couple wholesome things Black Manta has done, just to kind of balance out all the, well, it's not going to balance it because, you know, he killed a whole baby. Let's look at some of the good things he's done. So Black Manta and Jackson were swimming, and Jackson built up the courage to tell his father that he was gay. And Manta's response is wholesome in his own way. He tells Jackson he doesn't really care. We're all meat. And on the cover of this comic, he's drowning Deathstroke, so that's pretty cool. And one thing I respect and admire about Black Manta is he's been black since the 60s, never stereotyped, and is well respected among other villains in his league. I was on Amino Apps reading about him when that was mentioned, so I thought maybe it was kind of important to put it in there because Black Manta's race was never used as like a joke. Like, sure, he used it to pump up the numbers in his game. Black Manta does not play. And as you may have seen by now, he's as evil as it can get to anyone whose first name starts with Aqua. He may not have godlike genius or power, but he does have god-like pettiness and hatred for Aquaman. If Dr. Doom, Lex Luthor, Reverse Flash, and J. Jonah Jameson are top contenders for the most petty villains, I would like to nominate Black Manta for this Mount Rushmore of petty villains who hate their foe for really no reason. And just one thing before I say bye, I want y'all to see that Aquaman did get his get back. This scene shows Aquaman carrying Manta to a very deep part of the ocean. While Aquaman is being told over and over he's not going to actually kill Manta by Manta, Aquaman would summon hundreds to thousands of sea creatures who would completely engulf Black Manta, silently avenging little baby Aqua. I had to put a W in there for Aquaman after all this horrible stuff he had to endure. Thank you for watching. Maybe leave a like or subscribe so I know this is content you'd like to see. Maybe leave some comments telling me what I can improve and what I can do to be better. So with that, hopefully I'll catch you next time. Have a good day.